for our final speaker of the morning, and before I bring John Zentner up, I'd like to give you just a brief background about John. He spent 6 years as an auto underwriter in the Merced region. Following that, he was an agent in Merced for 4.5 years, and during his tenure as an agent, he qualified for Life Championship 4 times. He qualified for the President's Council 2 times, went to Toppers Club all 4 years. For 4 straight years, he was the #1 life producer in the company. He issued over 400 life apps in 1 year in 1976. He wrote over $1 million of life insurance each and every month that he was an agent. He was also the #1 producing agent in the company in 1976. And as we oftentimes do, we take successful agents and we appoint them as district managers, and we did so with John about 16.5 years ago, and we appointed him as the DM in the LAC region. His district is entitled District of Champions, and it holds the LARO life written record of $30,966,000 of life insurance, and that was in October of 1991. His district holds 2 all-time commercial account records as well, and they're in the Farmer's Book of Records. And for the year 1986, he had 67,557 commercial count, and he also holds the record for 1 month in 1986, and that was 9,379 counts. His district right now averages 200 count per month for full-time agents, so some very impressive statistics. He also has some interesting hobbies. He is a game inventor, he's into sports announcing, and he's an artist. So let's give a warm Santa Ana welcome to John Zentner.
Thank you, Andy. It's great being back here. After the Merced region, and obviously my own region, this is the favorite place I've ever been in my life. About 20 years ago, y'all, a few of you are still here, and a lot of you are new, but welcome John Zentner and his tribe of friends that do seminars here. Billy Helfers was here then. And hell, I could have stayed here and been happy. I remember the kind of hospitality from this region, and when I was the other day talking to Brian Seifold and talking about some of the other stuff we'll talk about, when he asked me if I'd like to be here, it took me a couple minutes to make up my mind. The answer was yes, so thank you for having me here. The reason I'm here, and actually I'm glad to be anywhere after January the 17th. For those of you who weren't in the state then, something happened right under my house. I awoke in the air, about 1.5 foot out of my bed, with my wife screaming, and before I hit the bed I realized this was the end of just not my career with farmers. I've had a couple regional managers that thought about that this was a hell of a way to go. 4 million people, including the Zentners, thought they were going to die at 4:31 in the morning on January the 17th. I was thrown up in the air one more time, and by the way, I know you think that I'm trim and slim, but actually I weigh over 175 pounds. So that's a lot of potatoes to get up in the air. Thought I was going to die, but when I realized that I wasn't, and the other 4 million people knew that we were going to make it, we finally got the lights on in the house with candles, and realized this maybe wasn't the big one, but everything is different now. The next day, I rallied my troops, came into our offices. I borrowed a pair of jumbo Pampers to wear in myself, oversized diapers for me, because every few minutes it was rock and roll, and we started calling our clients because everybody had that feeling of galvanization. Then we knew what we were all about. We weren't in a contest, we weren't trying to make a club, we weren't working on loss ratio. We were in that worst case scenario business. I call it CID, calamity, infirmity, and death, and that's the business I'm in. Worst case scenario, I'm a head coach of a team. I called the people. They said, boy, we're having problems here at the house. I said, get them done. Get on down to the office. We got people who need us. And so I've never been more proud in my career of the job that I did, my wife Susan, who's in the back of the room, did, and a whole bunch of rodeo cowboys who went back to their offices to help people, because that's what we're all about. At that moment, I looked at my house. I didn't have any idea there was $125,000 damage done. I thought maybe 50, 60. And as the calls came in, 1 every 5 seconds, my next fear, now that I knew we were going to live, was, what's going to happen to our company? How are we going to pay these bills? Are we going to make it? Damage was pandemic. It was everywhere. 6 minutes from my house, 16 people died. We insured that, paid the liability thing off right away. It's still standing. It's ugly. Right down the street, cars flattened and all the stuff you saw on TV that we didn't, because we had no ability to watch TV. We were in that war zone. We were in a city Hitler was bombing. Something happened in my district. Something happened to our district manager. It was a born-again experience, and I thought to myself, I have to do things differently. This is the time when you rally for a great cause. And that great cause is your people. And another great cause is the farmers' insurance welfare, because that nourishes all of our families. And I have no other place to go. And it's the only money that I've ever gotten from anything in big numbers that have done the things that I've been able to do with these hobbies, these silly things that I do. So all of a sudden, words came to me. If you build the systems to serve the people, they will come. I see you don't have in front of you the material. Do you have the outline of what we're going to talk about today? Do you have this and the ammo sheets? We should have those in front of you, please. I gave you kind of a blackboard script I'm on, so I don't forget to tell you these important things. And I wouldn't be here today talking to you if it wasn't so important to people who are doing this right now. This is not philosophy. It's not a pilot program. This, folks, is the real McCoy. If you build the systems to serve the people, they will come. The great late Bud Post told me one thing on a few cocktails one night. He says, I'm not an insurance salesman. I think of myself more as a doctor, and then he used the word, or a systematist. I build systems. Farmers has always had some initials called MBO, Management by Objectives, which is good, straight business stuff. Well, Doug Dillard and I were talking on a few cocktails, and he says, well, what you're working on isn't Management by Objectives. It starts with MBS, Management by Systems. Before you get to goals and objectives, you have to build a skeletal framework to put your goals on. That's the muscle. That's how big you want to get. But you have to have a skeletal framework. So I'm a systematist. Yes, I'm a district manager, coach, but I'm a man of systems, because if you don't build systems with your people, they cannot build all the stuff you want them to build. They'll become frustrated, and they'll stop believing in themselves. I believe there's a coward in all of us. I believe there's a hero in all of us. And each and every person in this room has met both of those in yourself. Those of us who have played sports have choked. I have. I don't even want to tell you about it. It makes me sick what I've done at times. It's cowardice. I've met the coward in me. I've also had a chat with the hero in me. And it's our job as coaches, advisors, to find the hero in our people. And many times we talk about poor agents. Well, I use the term. But Post and I used to talk about, we'd sit off to the side, and Bud wouldn't talk to a lot of people. I was his underwriter. He'd talk to me and he'd say, that's a guy, he could be a hell of an agent. Poor systems. So what's the initial? And we should use it as coaches. Good agent. Poor systems. Gaps. He has gaps in him. He's a heck of a guy. He has no support systems. He's frustrated. And he'll quit. He will listen to the coward. Eventually, the coward, if we get frustrated enough, comes out in all of us. I know that for a fact. CODB. CODB. I teach to each and every person in my district. That, very simply, is the cost of doing business. Because if you can't afford the systems, then you can't play in this league. Not in 1994. I believe that we are a business system in all businesses, not just insurance, of water spots. Those little isolated water spots on the outside of the water pool dry first. The single-celled organism, which is just you in your agency, whether it's a district or one of our agencies, if it's just you, a one-celled organism, it's over. Ed Lanny and I were talking outside when he started and Merle Jessup started, and years later when I started, it was different. There weren't as many things we had to do. We have many more considerations now. And challenges, they were in one right now with this fire program. Good, solid agencies with good balance are going to go right through this thing. The person that just, that's all they do is some fire and they have no help, I don't know what they're going to do. Maybe that's why God created alcohol. Scotch and soda. I really do believe the day he created gin was one of those kind of days. In fact, I'll tell you, we were at a district manager thing over in Palm Springs. They had some of us there, and we had a hell of a meeting talking about some of the stuff, newsletters, and God, it was good. And then all of a sudden, I called Susie, and she said, red alert, red alert. And I said, what's wrong? Well, we're having a moratorium on fire insurance. And I went, yeah, right. Yeah, sure, yeah, fine, you'll be right back. Stop drinking, Susie. Well, then we got it confirmed. Then all of a sudden, I saw the guys who were there, and I watched their heads drop, and I watched my head dropping with theirs, worrying, what's going to happen now? Mumbling. Then we started drinking. About 12 drinks later, we had it all figured out. We turned a totally different spin on the ball. In fact, we had it worked out to where they were going to raise the rates, give it back to us later. We'd make a lot more money because the people who are socialists in Sacramento eventually are going to have to realize that we can't do haircuts for 75 cents anymore. And we're sitting on top of the worst crust on planet Earth. So we were okay until the next day, and then we had a hangover and we had to start all over again. Let me tell you something right now. This is challenging. We're not worried. We know that the big boat we're on, that farmer's boat's going to come through. But we have to do something ourselves out here, and we're going to address that today. This is our coaching staff. I believe that this company is SOL without great coaches in the field. I believe that because we're the people who pick them, bring them in, keep them revved up, and when the crap hits the fan, we're there with them. That's when I'm the proudest of my people and the proudest of myself during crisis management opportunities. It's attitude. My whole life has been attitude. When I've been down, I flunked out of Cal with a bad attitude. A's in high school, D's and F's at Cal. Was it the teachers were tougher? Yeah. One day I turned in a paper, and I didn't study, and I worked in high school, and I had put all the words in there. A lot of big words. And I'll never forget getting the paper back. Mr. Zentner, who do you think you are kidding? This isn't Merced High School. And then I knew they found me out. I was at Modesto Junior College the next year, fooling somebody there. This is a tougher league. The one-celled organism leads to something agents don't like to hear that you can tell them for me, and you're not threatening them, because farmers doesn't fire people. They terminate themselves. They have to do horrific things to themselves, their business, and their clients before they hit the gate. But we talk about in our meetings, there are two kinds of agencies in the water spot program. There's donor agencies and there's recipient agencies. There are people who are at the middle of that big pool, who have the systems and take care of their people. Know that they don't work for farmers. Farmers works with us, in our behalf. But our clients can fire us. That's how you get fired. The votes of your constituency. And I tell my people, and I lean over and I'm honest with them, some of you are donor agencies. You've worked so hard. You build up 5, 6, 7, 800, 400, 300 policies, and we're going to take a wheelbarrow when you walk out the door and bring them over to somebody who doesn't even need them. I don't give policies, by the way, to agents who need them. I give them to my top people as not a reward, because those clients, those orphan accounts are my boss, and I want to give them to the best available agency. I see district managers losing top agents who they have never taken care of and taking care of the clients by having quality meet quality. And they go back to West Virginia. Well, I want my people who want to be district managers to be well prepared to do a hell of a job out there, and I've given 3. My first 4 years I gave 3 district managers, and I'll get 5 more. But I will compete for them. And if you lose an agent who's a top agent and you didn't give them any orphan accounts to lock them in, to let them know how much you care, you made a mistake. The other day I talked to a district manager who was losing his top agent because of that. It's too late now. But he gave them to policies to people who were littler and more needing, and so they could get a secretary or they could afford to pay their rent. Wrong. Give them to quality agencies and use it as an additional incentive to have a good balanced agency that writes an awful lot of quality life. Some of you might not agree with that, but stick around and you might. Fast, fair, friendly. Fast, fair, friendly means to me fair, friend. Friendly means nothing to me. Friendly is the party. Our business, and my people know this, and I believe it every waking moment, is a friendship, not a friendlyship. We have to be fair with people. We have to, in the farmer's name, Farmers Insurance Exchange, give them a fair exchange for their money. And be there in a time of need. Worst case scenario, that's what friends for. But friendly, when you knock the LY off, that's the people who stay in the room when you know what hits the fan and the party's over. And that's the business we're in. Some of the people I've had through the years worry me, and it makes me remember a story of a man in a tall building who was looking down at the lake every day, and one day noticed there was same guy sitting under a tree looking at the lake. And weeks later, he says he never moves. The same guy, morning, no matter what time you come, he's just looking at the lake. So one day at lunchtime, he ran down and he says, "Hey, are you always here?" And the guy said, "Yeah." He said, "Well, you're here early?" "Yeah." "Late?" "All the time?" "Yeah." He said, "Why? Well, why are you always here?" He says, "Well, I believe in reincarnation." And he said, "You know, in reincarnation, you've lived many, many thousands of lives in the past, and I believe I'll live many thousands of lives in the future." And the guy said, "What? Why?" He said, "Well, I just decided to sit this one out." I just decided to sit this one out. You know what I tell my folks there, my buddies, my partners in our district? Just in case reincarnation isn't plugged in, if you continue to sit this one out and you write a real boring life story with no highlight film, it's boring to you, your wife, your kids, and especially you, it might be the only book you're writing. And I want to help you find the hero, so we have a highlight film So you have some F-U-N. Because I am going to cater to your E-G-O, your ego, and the hero in you, and we're going to have some fun because you're going to have a hell of a life story, and I'm just going to help you write it first with a little editing, and then you're going to write the whole book. And you do have historical presence because your kids, your family, and your descendants, because someday you will be an ancestor, are going to benefit from this, and you're going to raise the crossbar for yourself, which will set a pattern. So the people with your last name that have your genes, came out of your gene pool, will be special. Not just to themselves, but to others, and leave a gift. Now some of you might be saying right now, oh, it's not too much to get a religion or something. Get a church. Be an evangelist. Well, there is something very spiritual about people, dealing with people, and we are in a very spiritual business, and we better soften our hearts, stop acting like dentists and accountants. It is time to start addressing some of the needs, not of our corporation. Yes, that started me on this, but now it springs forth with something that's more important, that I hope hits you where it means something right here, to where you can go out as a coach, because you do not have districts. You have teams. T-O-M-F, if you're taking a note. I believe this. I've coached a lot of undefeated football teams. Our district is Tom F, a team of many friends. Oh yeah, I give a halftime talk. Oh yeah, I've done some corrective interviews. Yep, I've been accused of prodding. Some people call that harassment. I call it prodding. Bo Schemblecker said that once. He said, I'm good at prodding. Because they're friends of mine. And sometimes you got to tell friends what they don't want to hear, and then put them back together again. No, we don't talk tough with our people. We use patience, understanding, and respect in our district. That's what the Japanese say. Patience, understanding, and respect equals continued growth. If you ever talk to Japanese people, you'll see that. They get a lot done without raining and raving. We've developed impersonal lines agencies. Not personal lines agencies, impersonal lines agencies. In 1975, something very bad happened to me, and something very good happened at the same time. I was writing a lot of life insurance, and I got this for you just to show what our district, my agency was doing. Susie and I were doing in the mid-70s. Because of the thing I'm going to show you later, that's what happened. I found this because I was so frustrated. After the earthquake, I looked at my district and thought, I saw this old stuff, and I thought, how have I slipped so much? When I was here with you guys the last time, I was doing something creative and big and fun, and there was leadership involved. How did I fall so far off of my own requirements? Well, you know what happens to district managers? A lot of you know this already who are new. We get frustrated, we back off, we listen, we start listening to our players, and we start lowering the crossbar to get realistic, we think. It's a cop-out. And boy, have I had a lot of experience. Since I told Merle Jessup that I was going to have 420 agents and I was going to have offices all over the Northern Hemisphere, a lot of things happened to me. So I'm older, wiser, believe me, much more humble. Now I fit in. I needed the whipping, though, didn't I? What it really comes down to is, I walked in the door after some appointments in 1975. Susie, what's for dinner? I wrote 7. Wild and crazy guy. And I looked at her face, and it was this color. That's bad when you have that look. And I said, what? And the first thing, I had 2 boys at the time. The boys. No. She said, Chris Tillman. I said, what? She said, he's dead. Who's Chris Tillman? He was a young man who worked as a prison guard. 3 lovely little children, had just bought a house. Former college athlete. He was decapitated on his motorcycle coming down from his garage. She told me that. Didn't say a word. I turned, I got in my car, I took a 5-minute drive to my agency, turned on the lights, it was about 9:30 or 10. I pulled his file, and in his file was a $50,000 half-done policy. Oh, God. And I don't like this story, so bear with me. This is important. So I collected myself, and I drove back. And she knew what I went for. And she said, "Did we?" Because we were writing so many hours. I said, "No." And she went to bed. She said, "Not a word." She didn't have to ask. The next day we sent flowers to Lucille Tillman. Susie took care of all of that. She says, "Do you want me to call Lucille in?" And I said, "No, I don't have the guts to face her. Here's the top life producer in the country, didn't have the guts, the coward, said, "No, I don't know what to say to her. Let me think about it." 1 month later, I told Susie, "Call her." She came in with her 3 little girls, and they're all up there like 1 year apart. They look like identical twins, but they had their hair fixed up, and they just bought this house. And I closed the door, and I said, "Can your little girls go outside?" And Susie had little things for them in the front office. And I said, "Lucille, I'm sorry." She said, "For what?" I should have. I thought I had the $50,000 policy that Chris and I were planning to put together, and I never waited. I don't know what happened." And she said, "It's not your fault. He told me that you mentioned it to him." Mention, me, mention. I don't work that way. I don't mention things. I have a different approach. I have a Jewish mom. We don't mention things. If we think you need it, we make you do it. If we love you. And I said, "No, I'm better than that. I'm sorry. Mentioning's not good enough." She said, "Well, I can't get life insurance. I have a high blood pressure, but I want to take care of the kids and get that policy you talked about that you mentioned." And so I wrote 3 policies and walked her out. You know, she lost her house a month later, went on welfare. It changed her whole family tree, what John Zentner didn't get done. I know it. Maybe she didn't know it. I know it. And I don't know what happened to the Tillman family. And you know what? I don't want to know what happened to that family. I never have gone out of my way to find out if they lived happily ever after, because I have no part of that happiness if they worked it out. And she was a very fat, homely lady who wasn't going to go out and get Billy Bronco that was riding around a limo. It wasn't like she was going to find another cowboy. So I really screwed that family. Now, I know that, so what happened? What's so good about that? That's the bad news. The good news is then I actually became a doctor and remembered the words of Bud Post. And I told myself, there will be no more patients in my hospital that aren't taken care of to the best of my ability. It will be my best effort. And that's when our agency took off. And I've always had that story. Now, I haven't told it much lately, so it bothers me. I got used to it at once upon a time, and I thought it was therapeutic. I don't like that story. I don't like admitting it. But it's the truth, every word. So, I walked into my office one day after thinking all day and doing something with a special marketing tool that I found in the past that this very special, prideful, caring agency did. And I found this wonderful marketing tool that when I do this with agencies, I pull out very slowly because it is so scientific. I found that day this very special golden tool. But before I showed it to my people, I said this to my troops: I surrendered. I capitulated, I surrendered to my district, and here's what I told them on that day in January, about a week and a half after the earthquake. I told them, I quit, I surrender. I know you, many of you, will not go out in the evenings to go on life appointments that you might, just, could be, will, who knows, sell a life policy maybe, while I'm sitting around with scotch and soda saying, "Susie, can you get me some more ice?" change over to the fights. I said, a lot of you just won't go out for a roll of the dice. So I quit. And everybody looked at me and went, he's right. The guys went, all right. They didn't know I had the tool here. So I pulled out the gold phone. Now, before, I didn't have another phone, so I'm going to put the gold phone back in. I'm just giving you kind of the scenario. Now I pull out two phones. Let's stay with our script here. Now there's a red phone. It's called 911. My little store in Merced, California was open 9 to 6 days a week in Merced, and I used to tell the people when they'd ask me about Saturdays in town there, except for two buddies, they'd say, isn't that a pain in the fanny to be open on Saturdays? And I'd go, it sure is. Boy, that's an extra commitment. Boy, you know. Well, you know, it's just I already started it, so I can't stop it. Then I'd walk away and say, good, I hope they don't open up on Saturdays. Because we wrote so much business. We wrote 40 policies per month just on Saturdays. It's a barbershop day. Take that piece of paper in front of you. Let's go over some things. And I promise you one thing. If you do this with your agents, your production will start going up right away. It's a promise. I'll put it in writing. You can bank it. Number one, never, ever, if you're going to have the red phone in an agency and make that total commitment, allow answering services or tapes during regular working hours. It sends a signal. It's either he can't afford, he's too new, too dumb to have a staff in there like Allstate, State Farm, and all our competitors. Talk about being premier? No, if we don't open up, we're inferior. It's called being there. I'm finding out, and it scares me, that there is a growing trend, starting with reserve agents who are allowed in some districts to go out and do this and go on tape. Remember, the buying public doesn't understand the concept reserve agent. They bought insurance retail. So we have to look at our reserve program in districts. We can't allow people to float around out there like they're working for a John Hancock. This is the casualty business, CID, calamity, infirmity, and death. No, I don't want those answering service and tapes on. I'll have discrimination go against my people. They'll think that we are semi-pros. Just like if you had one McDonald's, let's say you had one McDonald's store in the area, it was on the Reserve McDonald's program, and it was just opened up half a day. The Reserve McDonald's program. Then you go up there, you go for a burger. Sorry, today Bill's fishing. We're on the Reserve program with McDonald's. No, either go pro or no go. And when you bring in a reserve agent, you keep them in your store, you use what we use, a cluster device, where they ring through Susan, and we give at least the perception of live coverage. With an open store where people can walk in, not their home. That's not going to work anymore. And I'm not going to tell home office that. They'll do it. They'll figure it out. Because we can't do it that way anymore. That was last decade. Reserves have to be handled with the red phone. From the first moment they represent the product. The logo says symbol of superior service. Damn it, that means symbol of superior service to me. That means being there. That's the first one. Number two, the Saturday thing is up to you, but most of my agencies, and by the way, everyone that ever wants an orphan account is going to have to be open 10 to 3 on Saturdays. That's up to them. 9 to 5, 5 days a week. Don't close down at lunch hour. And then when your phone line gets busy, some of you thinking, well, what can you do? You never cut off the red phone to the fire department or 911. You don't have somebody in your house call, hello? I have 2 people in my backyard with guns. It's 4 o'clock in the morning. Hello? This is an answering service. We're not here now, but we will be here on Monday at 8 o'clock. Could you call us then? What have you got that? Remember, each one of our agencies is a community within a community. It's Barrettville, California. At one time, there was Zentner Town, USA, in Merced, California. It's a community. And you want to make sure you have the guy with the fire hat, because that's what we sell. They buy a piece of paper. It doesn't taste good, you can't drive it around the block. And as part of that exchange, we have to be there. And even if we're dumb and new, there's somebody that can help you out, but being there is important. Emergency hotline. Here's a tip for you. You want your new people to come out of the chute better? Put on their business card, after hours, emergency hotline, and have an answering service that they can cluster or do themselves for $10 a week. And then when you're sitting in the interview like little Johnny Zentner did in the 70s, because we always had 24-hour service, 365 days a year in Merced. Our agency outwrote the other 11 combined almost every month. But we were there using this stuff. We were a community that was here to take care of our people in emergencies, because that's when they find out about you, just like that earthquake thing. And I don't understand why people back off of that commitment and then can tell people, I'm a hell of an agent. Well, what are you, better looking? Or are your clothes nicer? You drive a faster car? What makes you a better agent if you're not there? A lot of people go, well, I can't afford it. That's the cost of doing business. I can't afford it is one of the scariest sentences in the English language for a capitalist. A guy told me the other day, he says, well, hey, if somebody says that, they're not an entrepreneur, they're an entrepreneur. That's cold. I don't use that one in my district. Because you're a crappy business person if you don't take care of your people. Word of mouth, W-O-M. That's the first 3 letters of the woman. Woman has given us all these creatures are running around messing each other up. W-O-M is the creationist in business. It's called word of mouth. And I tell my people that. You're not getting the referrals because you have an impersonal lines agency that doesn't do enough for your clients. And if you build the systems to serve your people, what? They will come. That's our field of dreams right here. These are the goalposts. We play between these goalposts. Farmers Insurance gives us an opportunity, and if you check out the others, it keeps looking better and better. The grass is greener on our side of the fence. Marty McCloskey, one of my agents, came over the other day. He's written a lot of commercial through the years, not a good balanced book, but he's doing it now, and he says, I'll tell you why I'm writing a lot more life now and why I'm going to do this. I cooked up a little bit of calamari, we had a few pops. And he says, despite what's going on right now, I've never been prouder of farmers because of the way we handled the claims and how happy my people are and the letters of recommendation we've gotten. And it is a tale of 2 companies. 20th century cut and ran and didn't pay their claims. Yeah, they were big time until you know what hit the fan. But we were there, and you should see the letters and the way people treat us in our area because of the way we responded. And then I'm going to have something going to Paul Quint in our claims department. Tremendous job. Now, it wasn't an A, it was better than that. But now it's up to us. Now the coaching staffs have to get together with our players. The ball's in our court now, and now Notre Dame's coming Saturday. Yeah, these are tough times. I like it, and my people like it too. My football coach used to say something a long time ago. First day of practice, line coach would say, gentlemen, this is no place for the faint of heart. And you know, this business, that's why you guys are here and ladies are here. This is no place for the faint of heart. This is now they find out how good you really are. This is when our experience and all we've gone through does come together. And I'm going to be awfully proud of the way we're going to handle this. And we'll handle it damn well as a corporation too. Now let's go on. Red phone, emergency hotline, open Saturdays, no answering services, no tapes. And then you celebritize your total commitment of your community with your clients. You put it in your ads, you put it in your yellow pages. You put it in your cards and you put it on your lips. And you always ask people, is your agent open 6 days a week and does he have an emergency hotline with State Farm, Mr. Jones? No? Well, sir, you're paying so much for your insurance, really, even with us, that that's the minimum we can do, and that's the reason a lot of people come to us. It's because if you have a problem, we want to know about it right away. You know, when they do call in, you have the service or somebody in your agency periodically call, so if you're on that long, one of those 4-day weekends, some of them are coming, they get a call back and you say, hey, Rex, okay, you told me about it, go fish it, don't worry about it, you're taken care of. You pay for your insurance, I do the rest. That's all people want. And we're not giving it to them unless we do these systems. Now, once you've done that, then here's what you can pull out of the box. The gold phone. And boy, I like this one. This is the phone I use to Mercedes. Sold millions and millions. I'm going to have it on a wall someday. In fact, I might be buried with it. But Susie says she's going to put me in one of those things that turns you into a jar, so I don't know what's going to happen. Maybe we'll, Susie, put the ashes in here. I'll be close to something I love. Now, she didn't really say that. I made that up just now. Watch this. Watch me sell some life insurance. Hi, Bill. Hey, it's John Zentner. How you doing? Hey, look at him. Look through your file. I'm calling. Sorry I didn't call you before on this. I think we dropped the ball. Yeah. I see here we didn't take care of your mortgage insurance. Well, that means if something happens to you, yeah, the house is paid off and it's just a whole bunch of coverage for hardly any money. You got a pencil and paper handy? I want you to write this down. Yeah, I should come out and explain it to you, but I want you to have it over the phone. And do you have any health problems at all? Okay, write this down. I can get you a $250,000 policy for $47.12. Hold on. You're a non-smoker. Okay. Trying to get you. You got to watch insurance guys. Okay. No. I said 47? No, how about 3312? Yeah, there's that much, but there's hold on. Do you know that people are like John Zentner, a lot of people, if you give them a price, not the smoker, and make a mistake, a little white lie, and you drop it down, they think they're getting a lot better deal. That's what QVC does. Okay? That's called marketing. Yeah. Okay, I'll tell you what you do. Are you and Mary going to be around Saturday? Yeah, we're open. Well, come on by. I'm going to have to ask you a few more questions. Just remember, I can't get this for you unless you're in perfect health. Any problems whatsoever? Okay. Well, listen, yeah, it's a group type rate that we can package up with your other insurance, and then there's some things we convert it to where you get a lot of money back, and it's just a temporary fix. And then we'll step right into it, okay? Now, let me hang on for a second. I talked to Ed Lanning out there a minute ago, and when Ed Lanning talks, John Zentner listens. And I'm sure a lot of you have had the same experience talking about lapse ratio. If you're going to give a prescription to every single patient, you're doing a very moral, ethical thing by letting your people know what they need in coverage. It doesn't spell out the kind of policy they have. Our program is a hybrid of people who need $200, $300 a month stuff. Some have, we just had a big annuity that you'll see in our little sports pages coming out. And every term policy is to be converted and watched over, and it has to be sold correctly, not just thrown at them, attached to an auto app. And we've made a lot of mistakes. Ed, I know, holds the regional record here in Live Britain because it's somewhere in outer space, and we do at a much smaller level. But Ed had the same experience that John Zentner had, and that is, you know, these written contests, you push them to write it, and they go out and write something just to get it on the board to be a hero, you know, queen for a day. And so later on, I've suffered through that. But the gold phone is set up to use your ammo sheets. And by the way, there's other pages to this that you'll get from them later that has the whole system in here. And you say things like this. Now, let me get my glasses on. I'm going to talk to a client in a minute with you. Let's follow your ammo sheet. Because this is a no-brainer, and I know because I did it. If I did it, it's simple, because I don't like anything that's hyphenated. Yeah, Bill, people like you shouldn't take the chance. You really have so much to lose. Well, I just wanted to get you this information so I'm off the hook, and I don't want somebody coming after me later saying, well, why didn't you take care of me? Would you write this down with your fire policy? Put down, discussed with John Zentner this day, 3312. Package policy, $250,000 insurance, and then I'll show you later how much money this brings you back when we convert it. Why? Are you having trouble? Well, when are you going to get that raise? Stop. Two reasons people say they can't afford it. Number one, they can't afford it. And number two, they just don't want it. Those are the two reasons. And many times when they say I can't afford it, they're just saying if it was 10 cents, I don't want it. Okay, we get back to the conversation. Yeah, okay, well here's what I think. You mark down that I told you this day, and you mark on the calendar. You get the raise in August? Okay. I'm going to call you, or one of my staff is going to call you about August, because your birthday's in September, and we want to catch that before your birthday. You save a lot of money. And if we don't call you, bad chance, you call us. Yeah, I'll have Susie mark it on her calendar. Okay, well, it's real important, and then I want to take a look at Mary's policy and the kids, because I got some package-rated stuff for them, too. Okay, stay healthy, though, man. Okay, talk to you later. Do you know that we wrote 37 good life policies a month doing that? 37, that's about a page and a half. And my secretarial staff were lining most of them up. Maybe one week, Eddie Grossman's office wrote 17 junior alphas, when we used to call them that. And John Zentner's agency got beat with 14. We all went out for lunch, and the 2 agents didn't even know that they were lining all this stuff up. 31 life policies were sold, just because of the Go phone. So what we're doing, and the reason we're struggling in our quotas, is we're not getting our people to make a commitment, and I have told these people, I'm not asking you to become a great salesman. I want you to use this and give a prescription. What's a prescription? Go to the doctor's office. He says, John, you're fat. John, you have high blood pressure. John, I'm going to write something out on this square piece of paper. And I want you to take it down to Save-On and take these pills. I can't understand what it says there, but he understands and they do. And they get a bottle and it's just something I can understand. He doesn't follow me. The doctor doesn't follow me to the place and buy it for me. And he won't follow me home and say, okay, here's your water, put it in your mouth, just like your mom. No, he just gives you a prescription. And I got people now who haven't written policies in years giving their patients at least a prescription, because it's our moral responsibility to give them a prescription. What policies you write later are up to you. But if we don't give them a prescription, we're morally bankrupt. I consider it moral malpractice. And my people agree. And that's good that people agree with me on that, because that is the essence of what we do for a living. I was on a field trip once, sitting with a fireman, and I said, I think you guys are wonderful. I think what you did during the fire is wonderful. And I was telling the truth. What you and those cops do is unbelievable. And he looked at me like I was crazy. And I said, can I buy you a drink? And he said, yeah. He says, but I don't know why you're making such a big deal out of it. I said, because you put your life on the line to save people. He said, Mr. Zentner, I do it for only one reason. It's my job. It's my job, he said. He didn't think he wasn't a hero. It's my job. And he's just looking at me like, get off this crap, man. It's my job. Well, this is our job. We have surgeons who don't want to perform surgery. They want to sit by the lake, waiting for another one. And I think we have to address that fact, because I think that's the coward speaking. The Go phone is nothing more than asking your people, as I've asked mine, and it's not a done deal. I'm not going to lie to you. You guys know me too well. I exaggerate sometimes, so I'm not going to exaggerate. I'm an optimist. It's an ongoing thing, and I'm going into their offices to help them in their own hospital. Because, see, I'm just the general doctor. They aren't salesmen. They hire people. Customer service managers who call people who can do the Go phone. The key is to start your agencies talking to their own people. They have lost contact. They're not getting the referrals. They're wondering why the business just isn't coming in. In their policy in force is another policy in force that needs cesarean section. It won't give itself natural childbirth. We have to go in and get that huge 300-pound baby out of there. I have agencies that have 1,500 policies that really are 2,500 and 1,000 policy agencies. Well, that's one other thing if they do it. What will I do with the wheelbarrow? I'll bring them some orphan accounts. You bet I bribe. You bet I bribe. I want them to know the people who do the best job for the people get the next batch of people who lost their daddy. And it makes sense to my people, and when you take a look at the kind of top producers that I'm adding up, woo, boy, I'm having fun. It's fun, man. Hey, anybody can coach my team. Anybody can coach my team. Speaking of my team, you're going to get our sports page. One of the things I have to tell you about farmers, that lately, and the reason that I met Brian on the phone and saw his great division newsletters, and he gave me a lot of confidence that this was going to work, and sent me a lot of stuff from your region, is Dale Hawk and I in my region kind of got into a task force on this motivation management workshop stuff that I've been horsing around with, and I'm still trying to put together, because I only know part of the story. In fact, today I'm telling you almost everything I know. And it'll only last an hour. I'm learning from a lot of old pros. I'm just midstream in my career with farmers, so I'm kind of at the adolescent stage. I'll be an adult next time you see me, possibly. But I do know one thing. I do know EGO. I do know that we in farmers at regional, divisional, and district level have not been feeding the ego of our zoo animals, and we're treating them like accountants and dentists. That newsletter you just got, I highlight every time they appear on the number side. I keep the spotlight on them. Now let me tell you 2 reasons to do it. There's about 15. We give you 2 of them. Number 1, if you don't feed the egos of the top people, then you don't understand what makes them tick. If you think it's all money, wrong again. Lots of things get them going, and lots of our districts all over the country have stopped or never started doing newsletters. That's like having sports without a sports page, and no sports writers, and no talk shows, and nothing, just to go out and get sweaty. I don't know how many people that play football for all the lumps you take and just bleed and sweat and come home and go, okay, did you win or lose? I don't know, but man, I'm sure beat up and I'm sure sweaty, and I think I broke my jaw, but I sure want to get out there tomorrow and do it again. This business is tough. These are tough times. And more than ever before, what we have to do right now, and that's coaching. And by the way, it's something else, another 3-letter word I love. It's F. It's U. And it's N. It's fun. I do not have a district. I do have a hell of a team. We call it the District of Champions. It's a team of many friends. I got ball players from all over the country who are in there now. You should see these young people that people say you can't bring in young people. You can if you cluster a bunch of winners. Yes, you can. Now they're all getting married. Now they're starting to do some things. I got a boy who had a 130 count first 5 months. He just has 400 count on the deal now. He's going to end up with a 500 count average the rest of the year, just so he won't be embarrassed in the locker room. Our place is a bad place to squat down at halftime and not want to go back on the field. It's called buckle up. This is a pro sport, and I make it important. It's important every month, not quarterly. So in our region, what are we doing? Well, I just did a workshop with our division. I'm going to do 2 more. And it's fun because we just sit there drinking and we look at newsletters from all the top districts from all over the country, Mgrs through the years, and we have one. We just have a whole potpourri of great ideas. And I know, and I'm going to point out Merle because you used to be an editor of a paper in college, Merle. That was a story that we tell. Is that true? No, well, that's what they say about you. That's why you have such a good newsletter. But the thing, I liked it. Susie and I worked on it, and this is our latest format we've done the last 2 months. Before that, we typed it. Never have missed a month. Have had months where I didn't want to print it. It's a discipline. But I know one thing. In our region, our divisions are going to be sending that newsletter into the marketing manager. And Dale Hawk, who I'm working with later, will do whatever he wants to do with the regions. That's another domain. And we're going to have a regional newsletter now, consistently in our region, a good one, creative, fun, sports page. And every district's going to. 1 out of 10 districts in the United States right now that I did a poll on have newsletters, which means one thing. Watch this one. Now, this is a theory. Okay, maybe you think that I'm far out, but I know this in my heart. There's a dual gravitational pull in a district. When you get a whole bunch of top people at the top, that larger celestial body will bring up the people in the middle. There's a whole midstream of people. If you have too many who, because you don't have a sports page, who have been allowed to hide at the bottom, that gravitational will pull people down. It's called, it's not that important. If they don't post a newspaper on it and make it look right, it's just not that important. And boy, it is. So, I'll tell you this now, and this is conservative, 33% to 40% of the production we get in our district, the good things are happening because of the system you have sitting in front of you. A sports page, ego nourishment, and then a look at the bottom. You don't see as many people on the bottom. Those water spots dry up a little faster in our district because we put the spotlight on. And the hotter the spotlight, the quicker the water spots dry up or move up. You can run, but you can't hide. You can run, but you can't hide. And then I have another thing I use for the people at the bottom. It's called John's Club. See, I have a club where you get to come over for breakfast. And I spend more of my personal time with you if you're at the bottom. I just love you to death. Because I don't have any poor agents, I just have good agents with poor systems. And so I bring you in remedial classes until you can't stand me. But I'm nice about it, and I love you, and I tell everybody they come from a lovely family. Because they do. Oh no, some people, I don't know why people put people down on this planet. We're only here for an hour. Just love them in or out of business. So guys don't want to be in, and gals don't want to be in John's Club. They just don't want the free breakfast. Now you're my own boy. I was going to put him in John's Club because it was life the first 5 months. He said, Dad, I've been in your club my whole life. I want out of that one. I've heard you before, Dad. Thanks. I'm motivated. So what do we have? Well, I want you to turn the page because I got one more system for you. And then I got a whole book of cartoons for 15 years for your great newsletters. But see, that's my crusade. This is my place. This is one little thing, my little niche on this planet to do, is to try to help our team have impressive sports pages to where we get motivated and start working on, not our loss ratio, it's off to the left there, our premium loss ratio. Even in the big districts, and we got some huge districts where it looks good all the time. Ed Lanny's AMR is a 1.0, which we'll talk about in a second, a 1.0. But in every district, including mine, there is a premium loss ratio that we can't quantify, and that scares me. Because we can't quantify it, we don't work on it. And in addressing these systems, I am working on it because I don't know what I'm losing, but I don't want it to be very much. So I'm going to do these things. And by the way, your premium loss ratio affects your loss ratio. Because there's something about money coming in as opposed to losses that I figured out when I was an underwriter. They kind of work together. So I came up with another system. Because boy, I was desperate. I've been desperate. Now, by the way, this one I did 2 years ago. Bud Post used to say, let's go back to Bud, Johnny, come here. See that guy over there? He was talking about, I think at that time it was Don Hoon Cho, who wrote a lot of life insurance. And he'd go, he won't be around in 20 years, 10 years. I said, why not? He writes just soft count. Post introduced me to the term soft count, hard count. Hard count is something that renews, that builds up contract value. Soft count, disparaging as it sounds, was life insurance and stuff that you get a lot of count, you walk around with your chest out, but when something happens, you stop writing it, you don't have any renewals, you go over to New York Life. And we lose them. We have these districts where they have, most of their count is life count. And a guy writes one big annuity like Fred Yeager does, the DM walks around, Jesus, I get one big. Whoa. It's me, I'm big. I'm Mr. Big. Like John Zentner was in 1975 with the Tillman, Mr. Big. Cigar. I was wanting a cigar and posing. I looked good with the cigar. I hated the taste, but it just looked good in the photo. So what do? I have a golf score, and Post put the score together, but he gave me the idea that about a year ago, I wanted balanced production. You know, the commercial thing we were writing was kind of big, and I got awards and plaques, and it was good. And the national thing, along with Wayne Gagenberg, was huge, and it's nice to have my little pee-wee name up there with his on any kind of a scoreboard. So we liked it. That's an ego deal for me. That's fun for me. But I was so lopsided that my AMR, which we'll do together here, was crummy because it was mostly commercial production. We lost fire policy in force, auto policy in force. We were writing any life insurance, just barely making quota. And by the way, there were 2 years I didn't make quota. When I first came here, I told some of you guys, I will quit if I ever miss 1 year. Quote, Ed Landy's looking, yeah, Johnny Bugs, you were all mouth. Now, well, I still am. But I didn't make it a couple of years, and I didn't quit. I changed the rules. I said, well, if you don't make it 3 times. So I knew something was wrong, so I put in an AMR. Now, let's turn the page, and by the way, you aren't going to get a better idea this week than this one. I promise you. I mean, this is one that if you ever see me someplace alone in a bar, down and out, you probably should buy me a drink, just for this one idea. Now, on a newsletter, I don't have one newsletter myself somehow here. Do you have one there you can bring me? Did you bring me a newsletter? Thank you. This is actually about halfway creative. And it's so simple that you know I must have come up with it. Take the computer, and after your name, it goes this way, or before your name, it says auto, and it has a number. That's your rating in the district, division, region, or in the nation, which is tougher to get on all of those, although we do have some people do that. Not my district on all those yet. Now turn to not the last page, that's a little promotion I'm having. I won't even get into promotions. I don't know enough about promotions. I need advice on that. That's something, I've done good promotions, I've done bad promotions, and I'm experimenting now with more quarterly promotions, and that should be a good one. But I don't want to talk about something unless I know I have a wire for you. I'll listen to you on that. Page 7. Here's what I'm real proud to show you. John Crowley has the best overall count in our region, and he has 46 agents. I have 27, and you see on the bottom here, he's 1,818 count ahead of me for this calendar year. And us, I should say. But we have right now, after 5 months, our numbers are low enough in auto, commercial, fire, life, and overall, and we add those up just like golf scores, golf holes. But then we take overall production, and in our system, we add it twice. Your first temptation is to put loss ratio, a lapse ratio, and everything in there. I promise you, if you do it, you're mixing an underwriting department and an administration department with the sports side. Don't do it. You'll be tempted to try to run it just like a matrix. Use the balanced production. We call it our agency management rating, and I named it after my good friend who meant so much to me, Bud Post. He called me his pacer. One year we beat him by 1,000 count. I almost died doing it, and I wish he was here now because he was the Babe Ruth of the farmers agency system. Anything that I have done and still try to do, I remember him daily. But Bud used to talk about balance, balance, balance. He was the first PhD in balance in our company. Now look what we did there. We had a 3.0, which means we had 18 strokes. And we're right ahead of Crowley, but he's tough. He has a lot more people. I need more troops, like I have now. I got a little bit of earning. So what you do with your agents is you take your people, and now I do it on Agency of the Year. Last year, Vito Paoletta, let's turn the page back, another page, in our district. And by the way, the reason we have so much balance at the regional level is because I started this 1.5 years, 2 years ago. Because our people talk about AMR. We have a guy who doesn't write as much commercial saying, I got to get my score lower in that. It's a scoring thing, like golf. What if you just went out and hit the ball? What'd you score today? Oh, I don't know, we just hit the ball a lot. I lost a lot of balls today. What was your score? Oh, no score, just lost a lot of balls and hit a lot of balls. And some went in the hole. And it was hot. Bad sport. So we got to score it. What's different about this? Why isn't this the same kind of sport? I don't know. Maybe we'll change that. Okay, now turn to page back, agency management rating, page 5. Vito Paoletta, 2.5. Steve Barrett has a problem with his auto and fire, which he's getting down now. He lost for the first year. Of course, we've had it spread around a little bit. I've had, what, 4 or 5 people make President's Council from our district. 5, including me, a long time ago, 76 years ago. Vito Paoletta, 2.5. Steve Barrett, 5.3. Last year, Steve Barrett had the most production. Now, I'm going to do this in your mind with me, and can you move the camera over here, follow me? Because this is really going to help you. And you got my guarantee on it. If it doesn't, I'll send you money. Well, maybe not money, but some real nice cartoons. Watch. Here's one guy. His auto, he's number 3. His commercial, he's number 5. His fire, he's number 2. His life, he's number 3. And overall, he's number 3. All right, let's do his AMR. 3 and 5 is 8, 10, 13. And then we have 2 3s because we take overall times 2. So what's our number? 19? All right, 19. We know that we're going to take 6 into 19 and 18, 1, 2, okay, 4. He's a 3.1. Now you got another guy in your district that everybody's yahooing about. You know what he is? He's an annuity guy, writes an annuity. Can write a big life. He just sells about 7 policies a month and doesn't even want to be in the business, but he's a big count guy. Now he becomes your agency of the year on my old system. In the auto, he's number 17. In commercial, he's number 14. In fire, he's number 7. In life, he's number 1. And overall, he's number 1. He's a hero. He's a big hero. What's his AMR? Now, and by the way, he writes twice the count that this person does. And really, you love him because it helps make the quota. It's great, okay? So, 31, 38, 39, and 2. This person, even though he's number 1, is a 41. We take the 6 in there, 7, it's almost says 36, 5, 8. This is 6.8. Question. Which one of those agencies is going to be here in 5 years, 10 years? The first one, correct? Now some of you are thinking, well, no, John, now this is blasphemy because that's the person who writes the big annuity and some life cases. I want them both. We, in agency management with systems, and if we do one thing, and if we help them recruit, can bring in the kind of staff, I repeat, and help them recruit, can bring in the kind of staff they need. Why do district managers, when people come in you're interviewing, and they don't qualify for some reason, or they're not ready, why don't we call up the people that we've met with and say, I have a guy who might be a great marketing intern. I think there's 9 people in my district right now that came out of our internship. And I know top district managers, some of them are very close friends of mine, who don't help people recruit who aren't good recruiters, and those are agents. So they go to my training programs, and I am constantly looking for people to fill out the staffs of our agency, so we, I think, get a lot of what you might think is pretty good here from the fact we're better staffed. It's not leave it to Beaver, the water spot on the outside. Beaver is the person who does the paperwork, who can't recruit, can't train, can't motivate. I can. I do that for a living. So my advice is maybe to look at the people that come across your door, step into your office, and don't throw them away. Don't throw out the baby with the bathwater. And so we have a program that actually helps them on an internship, that helps develop the kind of programs that will achieve balance. We call it the balance plan. There's a lot of stuff. Finally, I'm starting to get a clue on what I do for a living. A long way to go, further way to go than when I was here the first time. It's funny how you can move along a long way and then not have the same feeling about yourself. I have a partially cooked cake in the oven. I don't know how high it will rise. I do know one thing. There's going to be systems management, not just to my side, but with my partners in the district. Each and every one of them have their own little mini region there, and they're doing an awfully good job. As time goes on, I hope you see that the District of Champions makes prideful contributions to not just our district and our agency, but to a lot of other people. We have some people who would be willing to help your people, as I will. I would be willing to come out and do the pure goal phone presentation, which doesn't have all these little coaching sideshow things in there. But I can't do it on an individual basis for like 15, 12 agents, because it's just getting a bit much. But I can do like divisions and small clusters of district managers in some big districts, because I really feel that the goal phone now is not at odds with Enjoy Life and big cases. It's part of it. It puts together a holistic program where we're at least talking to all of our people and advising them correctly. Here I have 17 years of cartoons, which we've taken out at some effort out of all of our All-Pros through all the years, and most of them are insurance cartoons that are really funny and good, and we'll add a little juice to those of you who are going to do a hell of a newsletter, and I'm leaving that here. I also have something I'll leave behind, something you don't have, which is an owner's manual, prescription ESP. It has family life, mortgage protection, an annuity little deal, and almost all the time it starts with "I'm sorry." You apologize first. And then your story. Through the years, when you add it all up, I'll save you a lot of money in lots of ways. At the same time, giving you the best coverage, a top-notch company, and the best personal service in the country. We used to tell our people in Merced, this is where quality, and that's you, meets quality. Thank you very, very much for having me here. I really enjoyed it.